Alter Schwede. That means like old Swede. You know, we say this all the time when we are, it's like an expression to people are old in Sweden. I mean, not only in Sweden, here as well, but that's what we say. Old Swedish people. That's when we are surprised how long it actually took for this parcel to arrive here. Well, someone definitely had a plastic fetish. Some people do like that. They wrap everything in plastic. But it's good, you know, it's good protected and everything. Holy cow, look at this. Look at this packaging. Wow, nice. Good old Swede. Yeah. Wow. Look at these clamps. And the manual. They don't trick me again with this. Ah, they don't use the mini USB anymore for the connection to the computer. Nice. This is not an unboxing or a product review. I'm just sharing my experience with you while unpacking and testing this. There it is. Wow, look at this box. 350 mil we have. 120 millimeter fan here on the back. Metal case. And the same buttons as on the other tester. There's Chinese again. That means hello friend. So, and these are the probes coming with the tester here. This is a 5-pole plug here on one end. And then we've got the clamp for the current and another thin one for the voltage. So they are separate. I don't know why. Okay, here connecting our power cable. Okay, let's turn this bad boy on. There's a big beefy switch on the back here. Ooh. We know all this from the other tester, right? Charging constant voltage, discharging constant current, discharging constant power. Yeah, exactly 100% the same as the other tester. 45 amps I can set. Okay, let's set it to 55 and see what happens. And play the music. Let's connect these beefy plugs here. Wow. I've got a 10 gauge wire here. This is about 4 millimeters, I think. Connect the positive. Okay, that's not working here. It's a bit loose now. You can connect it directly to the terminal. Look at this. And the voltage. Okay, we have connected the positive and the negative, both for current and voltage. It jumps automatically to 40 amps. Constant voltage charging to 3.65 volt. Once we hit 2 amps, it will stop charging. Okay, let's try this 40 amp charging. Okay, we are at 3.34 volts. And go. Ooh, the fan. 40 amps, we are charging with 40 amps. Okay, let's verify that. Ooh, 39.4 it shows us. We are charging with 40 amps. That is insane. Wow. Look at this, how nice. Okay, as per specs for this battery here, we can charge it with up to 100 amps, which is 1C, and discharge it with up to 300 amps, 3C. That's an incredible cell, right? So charging with 40 amps, totally fine. You can feel the air being sucked in here on both sides. Hey, can you feel this airstream here? Woo! Wow, that is insane. We've pulled almost 5 watt hours already. 137 watts we are charging with. That is nice. We're at 3.44 volts already. Charging voltage. Okay, stop the charging. Woo! Okay, let's try the discharging. Constant current, 40 amps. And down to a 3.5, down to 3 volts. Okay, constant current discharging on. Yeah, discharging at 40 amps. 130 watts we're pulling. 40 amps. Verify the discharging. Yeah, 39.9. Perfect. What a great little device. I mean, it's not really little, but it's nice. I like it. Okay, I'm connecting the USB cable. COM4 connect. Yes, it has recognized it. Here, bottom left hand corner, it says EBC-A40L. That's the big one, the large one, the huge one. And we can now set up to 40 amps charging and discharging. Let's do a discharge, constant current 40 amps, down to 3 volts, and just start. Just want to see the curve. How the voltage goes down. 40 amps. We are pulling 131 watts. Look how the voltage goes down. Yes. Very nice. And here again it says PC on the display because it's now connected via the USB to the computer. Okay, this all seems to work fine. I don't want to do a full test on camera again, so let's stop the test here. What I want to do with this battery now and show you as well, because you haven't seen this yet, here in the top right hand corner, not that far, a little bit further down, yeah, that's better. There's a little tab here called cycle test, and here we can do some simple batch programming for the tester. So we click on settings, and now we are in step 1. So in step 1 we want a constant voltage charge the battery up to 3.65 volts with a cutoff of 2 amps and with a current of 20 amps, right? Because this is a 100 amp hour battery and we want to charge the battery with C2, so 20% of the capacity, which is 20 amps. So we can add this now, and this is our step 1. So step number 2 will be a wait. We can program a wait of 30 minutes as per the specs of the cell. We do no current, no voltage, we just wait for 30 minutes after fully charging the battery. Step number 2. And now we are at step number 3. And we do a discharge with 20 amps until we reach 2.5 volts. and we add this as step 3. Step number 4 now is, I don't want to leave the battery at 2.5 volts for too long. We are constant voltage charging again with, say, 10 amps up until we reach 3.3 volts. All right, and then we stop. Okay, add. So again, we do constant voltage charge the battery to 3.65 volts. Then we wait for 30 minutes. And then we constant current discharge the battery with 20 amps up until 2.5 volts. And then we constant voltage charge with 10 amps up to 3.3 volts only. Okay, we click on OK here. And this is all now in our task list here. These are our parameter settings. And you can see the run data. We haven't clicked on start yet. So once we do this, we can actually see where the tester is at what stage the tester is at. And we click on start again here. You can also save this sequence now for further testing. So once we get the other batch of batteries in here, we can actually save this task sequence and can apply this to all single individual batteries then. That'll be so good. I'm so looking forward to this. Alright, and here at the top you can see we are at step 1. Constant voltage charging, and the capacity we have pushed in and the energy we've pushed in so far into the battery cell. And down here we can see we are at step 1, and now the charger is running in full automatic mode until all these 4 steps have been completed. How good is this tester and this software? It is amazing. We can do all kind of tests with it. And look at our voltage curve, how it goes up. That is cool. Can I actually click on single test now? What happens then? So we can see the data here again, 20 amps charging, 3.65 volts, cutoff current is 2 amps. But here we can see all the numbers for voltage and amps and the power in large numbers. And if you go back to cycle test, we can see the cycle is running in the background on the computer here. It is amazing. You know what? It would be actually good if the software would give you an estimate how long the test will take. But I don't think there's any time measurement in here now. I don't know, we are probably at around 80% state of charge now, so it should go fairly quickly to reach the 3.65 volts now. And then it takes another 5 hours to discharge on 20 amps. And then probably another 6-7 hours to charge to 3.3 volts. Ah, what I've actually done here in step 4, the last constant voltage charge with 10 amps to 3.3 volts, I have set a cutoff current of 0.1 amp, so it fully saturates the cell then on 3.3 volts. That's totally fine. That is so amazing. I could watch this curve all day long, really. Well, some of you guys have read the manual of the EBC-A20 tester and said this one is limited to 85 watts only. And if I could test this, well, let's do it right now. Okay, back at the tractor battery. I need a bit of a larger battery to test this actually. So, positive, negative. 12.3 volts, and now we go into set mode. We don't want to charge it because we can charge it only with 5 amps. Constant current discharge, but with 20 amps. If we set like 25 amps, it will go down to 20 anyway. I think as soon as I hit the button, so the cursor jumps to the next number here, it sets it to the maximum, which is 20 amps. Totally fine. So discharge to, it doesn't matter. We are not discharging the battery, it's just for a test. So in theory now we've got 12 volt and 20 amps. So this should be 240 watts, is that correct? Yes, it is. Okay, let's start the test and see how much power we get out of it. Okay. Discharging with 7 amps only. See? Even we set 20, it discharges with 7 amps only. If we go in there. Yep, people are right. 85 watts, there it says it here. 85 watts. That's the maximum the tester can do. But you can see when the voltage goes down, the amps actually go up to deliver the maximum power of 85 watts. Okay, see? I learned something today. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was limited to 85 watts only. Oh, the fan just hit stage 2. Okay, I don't want to discharge the battery too low here. Just do the other test again. If we would charging constant voltage, 20 amps. And we should set this one to 13.35. That's fine. And test. Yeah, it will definitely charge the 12 volt battery with the 5 amps because this is only 62 watts. So this is within the specs then. The only real advantage I cannot really see is why do they have a second crocodile clamp now for the voltage and a different one for the amps? Can this one not be connected to here and we use the same clamp for amps and for the voltage? Okay, let's also measure the voltage of the battery quickly just to see how accurate we are. 3.40 it says, and the tester measures 3.15. So we are a bit over current here, but I measured here directly at the terminal, not at the screw. Okay, let me measure again here at the screw. Okay, let's measure next to the crocodile clamps which measure the voltage. Same, 3.40. Okay. Well, there is a function in the software where you can calibrate the tester to your real world numbers. I haven't done this yet. And there's also a function in the software where you can actually update the firmware of these testers here. Yes, they come with a firmware update tool inside the software. How good is that? Well, I must really say I'm really pleased with this workmanship, with the whole quality of these testers here so far. I mean, this is the second one I bought now from ZKE-Tech, and it's really good. The display is nice and clear and bright and readable, and all these cables here, they are well manufactured. The cooling seems to be very sufficient for all the modes you can run the testers in. I mean, you got some, see, this is lining up here with the front, and this one is a bit pushed in. No, this one fits perfectly. Well, they seem to be like a Tesla. You've got some little panel gaps here and there, but the technology... Oh guys, this didn't take long. We had 3.54 volts and you can see the curve going up very quickly now. It is exciting to watch. And here on the right hand side you can see the parameters again. So we are charging constant current with 20 amps until 3.65, which we will reach just in a few seconds. And then the current will taper off until we reach 2 volts, 2 amps. Volts, amps. 3.6, 5, there it is. And now you can see the current is tapering off. Voltage is staying constant. And the current goes down quickly. So we are basically absorbing the cell now at 3.65 volts and waiting until the current goes down to 2 amps, which is only 2% of the capacity. You should probably stop charging at about 5 to 10%. But this is just for a test. Look at this. The voltage stays constant and the current is going down. What beautiful curves this software makes. It's unbelievable. Just measure quickly the battery temperature. 19 volts. 19 volts. 19 degrees Celsius we have in the battery. And there we go, we have reached 2 amps. The charger turns off as per our task list, and now it will wait for 30 minutes. And I'm just reading here in the specs of this battery cell, the capacity on 0.2 C discharge till the voltage tapered to 2.5 volts shall be measured after rested for 30 minutes. Then finish standard charge. And this is exactly what we do now with our step number 2. We are waiting for 30 minutes. I'm not sure if you can actually see a timer somewhere running. No, this one has stopped actually here. The interesting part now is because we are resting the battery, so the current is on 0 amps. But you can see the voltage is going down now, so the voltage is tapering off. So let's see how far it comes down after 30 minutes. And then we start our discharging, which is our step number 3 here in our task list. Discharge constant current 20 amps. Oh, guys, it's almost 11 p.m. now. I think I call it a night now. We leave the tester running with our task sequence and we check back in tomorrow morning and see how far we are. Well, see you tomorrow morning. Okay, it is now 1 p.m. the next day. So 14 hours ago I went to bed and, well, the test is still running. It is still absorbing at 3.3 volts, as expected actually. Okay, I will stop the test now here. There's no benefit from continuing this test. It will just take another 24 hours or so. So we stop the test at 390 milliamps of charging current. But guys, a very interesting curve we have drawn now. Let's have a quick look at the cycle test tab here in the top right hand corner. We can see we have done all the 4 tasks we have programmed last night. The first one was the constant voltage charging with 20 amps to 3.65 volts with a cutoff of 2 amps. This is the first part of the curve here on the left hand side. You can see the voltage rising steep at the end. And then we had task number 2, waiting for 30 minutes. And you can see the current goes down to 0. So here all the way down to 0. And the voltage at this point of time is declining a bit. The battery chemistry is settling down, voltage is dropping. This is totally normal if you stop charging at such a high state of charge. And then step number 3 was discharge with constant current of 20 amps, which is 0.2 C for this battery, down to 2.5 volts. And this is the next part of our curve here. We can see again a deep decline of voltage until we reach this plateau here, and then the voltage drops only very little only until we reach here the 3.1 volts around here. Let me see if I can find, yeah, 3.1 volts is exactly here. And this is at 99 ampere hours. And we know from the previous test we could get 110 ampere hours out of the battery. So there's only 10 ampere hours left now from 3.1 volts down to 2.5. Then a deep decline of voltage until we reach 2.5 volts here. And the result we can see here in the table. We have actually discharged the battery with 108.42 ampere hours. A little bit less than before, but it's a different tester. You know, the voltage measurement might be a little bit different. Roughly the same ballpark, 8.4% more capacity than stated. Still very good result. And we got 347.4 watt hours out of this battery cell. Yeah, and then task number 4 was to charge only to 3.3 volt and then absorb until we reached 0.1 amps. And I have forgotten to set this parameter correctly yesterday. Well, you can see here at this point we have reached 3.3 volts, and then the current tapers off fairly quickly, but it has never reached the 0.1 volts. We stopped at, so we had to stop at 390 milliamps. 3.3 volt, of course, constant voltage, and we are at 25.6 ampere hours. This was at 10:22 this morning. 1.5 hours later, we had 26.8. A little bit over 1 ampere hour in 1.5 hours charged. And the lower the current get, the less ampere hours you charge, of course. Ampere hours is a product of amps multiplied by the time. So that was my fault yesterday, not setting the parameter correctly. Yeah, and here we also can see we discharged the battery with 20 amps, and then with task number 4 the current actually went down from 20 to 10 amp and then continued at a constant current of 10 amps until we reached a constant voltage of 3.3 volts. Yeah, very nice graph painted here for us again. I'm really impressed with this software, really. And guys, I have just discovered something. There, inside, you can probably see it. There's another fan. There's another power supply inside the box. And the fan here at the back is not on at the moment. So it looks like this one is only kicking in if it gets too warm inside. And the other one is running constantly inside here. This looks like a separate enclosure inside with another fan and potentially the charging unit inside. Well, here are both testers again next to each other to compare, because we are always doing size comparison here on the channel, right? Okay guys, it takes me a very long time to make a video now because these tests are running so long. But I think showing these graphs, it is really worth doing it because we can learn so much from them. And with this tester here, we will have so much more potential now and drive different scenarios with this battery. So I probably will make the next test right away afterwards here. As always guys, if you're interested in this tester here, all links are down under the video in the description and on my website as well. Guys, you stay charged, stay safe, and we shall see us again in the next video coming soon. Maybe I'll do some more stuff with the goddamn solar panels again, I don't know yet. But we've got cloudy weather. We had some rain last night and now it's cloudy, so I cannot really test any panels at the moment. Well guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support here on the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one very soon. See you then, bye bye.